Hey, back already? Well, as promised, today we're going to start showing you how to construct an XSD in detail. We're going to get right to the point too. None of this talking your ear off stuff. Oh wait, there's one more thing I meant to tell you. So yesterday I was hanging out with my friends at this really cool coffee shop, and then I noticed my mom was there too. Oh, and then I got this call, and it was really interesting because my brother was telling me about this amazing new device. Alright, so what does the structure of an XSD look like? Since an XSD is based on XML, the first thing we're going to need is our XML definition. And for the second line, we're going to put in this here. This is the namespace. It's where we say where we're getting our schema, elements, and data types from. It's actually a link to a page on the website of the World Wide Web Consortium, or W3. And remember that we're going to need to close the schema tag at the end of the document too. The XS after the colon tells us that we need to write XS in front of any elements that we use for the XSD. It's also important to remember that every tag we open up in XSD after we put our definition in has to be closed again. So, just like in XML. You also need to be sure that all the elements are nested correctly. Okay, now, moving right along. Alright, so what do these tags look like now? The purpose of XSD is to define which tags we can use in XML, how often we can use them, and what they're called. For a given tag in XML, we use XSElement for the tag in XSD. So if we open up one of these elements in XSD, we also have to open a tag in that spot in XML. Now if the tag doesn't include any other elements but just contains like a value, you can go ahead and close the element right away. Of course, the tag should also have a name too, since tag is kinda lame. We can just enter name as the attribute in element, and now the tag in XML has to have this exact name. We can also define a data type here, and then the value in the tag has to correspond to this data type. All we need to do is enter type as the attribute. In XSD, these include string for character sequences, integer for whole numbers, and time for, well, times. Of course, there's a ton of other ones too. Now, the value in the XML tag has to belong to the data type defined in the XSD, and you bet there are lots more useful attributes we can put in element. But we'll look at those in another video. For now, just remember that XS:element is what you use to define a tag in XML. You can name it using the attribute name. And the attribute type allows you to define the data type that the value inside the tag has to belong to. So now that that's all crystal clear, let's keep going. Now of course, we have attributes inside of tags in XML documents too. These are defined in XSD using XS:attribute. And then we can just close XS:attribute right after we open it. We can give it a name using the attribute name here too, which means the attribute in XML will need to have the same name as the one defined in XSD. And then we use type to define the data type. And the value of the XML attribute will then have to correspond to the data type in XSD. And that's about it. Of course, there's all kinds of other stuff that goes in there too. And in our next video, we're gonna also look at how exactly we get the attribute in the right tag. For now, just remember that attributes are defined in XSD using XS:attribute. Whoa, look at the time. I gotta go get my nails I gotta go to the gym. Ugh. Anyway, today we saw how easy it is to define attributes and tags in XSD. But we can't do all that much with this, so go ahead and click on the next video. We'll show you how to define whole documents.